What's up, guys? It's me, Titan Realty. Let's talk about what Bitcoin is and how you can make money from it. All right, first, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is basically just decentralized digital currency. Decentralized meaning no central authority. Yeah, it's not like ran by a country. It's not like the US dollar, which is part of the US. It's not the Bolivian, whatever the fuck Bolivia has. Bitcoin is decentralized. It is not ran by one country or one entity. Now, let's get into what Bitcoin actually is. Sure, it is like an online decentralized currency, whatever. We get that. What does that even mean, dude? Let's look at the definition of decentralized. No central authority. Thousands of computers worldwide run it together. Bitcoin is decentralized because it runs on something called the blockchain. So this is a graph of what the blockchain looks like and how it basically works, but I'm going to explain it. Someone requests a transaction. That requested transaction is brought to a broadcast on a P2P network consisting of computers known as nodes. What does that mean? That basically means there's a bunch of computers doing a bunch of math trying to encrypt your transaction. After it's been sent out and it goes to the P2P network, the network of computers validates the transaction and the user's status. So essentially how it works without all this extra jargon, you make a request to send someone Bitcoin that goes through a stream of computers doing a bunch of super complicated math to make your transaction encrypted. And then that eventually gets through all that math and gets sent to somebody else's wallet, both of the wallets being encrypted. So now that we've explained what Bitcoin is and how it works, now let's explain, why do people even use it? Why do you want your money encrypted? Why even have Bitcoin? First, the US dollar could just be printed easily. A lot of times throughout history, the economy's done bad ever since the US dollar had stopped being backed by the gold, throughout history, in 2008. Also in 2020, there was a large amount of money printed. People don't really talk about that. So that's one reason. The US just prints a bunch of money and there's no longer a hard substance that can back the US dollar. We've actually seen this happen in real time where some countries have switched over to Bitcoin instead of their actual currency. For example, El Salvador. El Salvador literally switched from their own currency to Bitcoin because their own currency has literally lost so much of its own value that they switched to Bitcoin. It's simple as that. So I guess some people, in the US, probably don't believe in the currency. That might be a reason why somebody would want to go for Bitcoin. Another reason why people like Bitcoin is just because people follow what's trending. Bitcoin is trending and it doesn't look like it's slowing down. Everyone's probably heard of a story oh, my cousin got rich with Bitcoin because they invested in it early. And another reason this is actually really good, I really like this about Bitcoin, is that you could send money with Bitcoin anywhere, with crypto in general. Anywhere, anytime. So for example, let's just say it's 4 a.m. in Colombia. You forgot, oh my gosh, my friend bought me McDonald's in the United States and I forgot to pay him back. You don't have to go through a bank to send him money. If you have Bitcoin, you could just be yo, send me your address, crypto address, send me your wallet, and I'll send you some Bitcoin, and boom, Colombia to the US, no exchange needed. And frankly, you could do that with Zelle, but this also helps if you want to send a big wire, you can just send money with Bitcoin or any crypto like Ethereum or Solana. You don't have to use a bank. That's another appeal of crypto in general. Let's just say you want to put a down payment on a house and you need to send a wire. You don't have to wait for the bank. You don't have to get approved to send a certain amount of money. You just send the money. It's simple as that. There's very little restrictions when it comes to stuff like that. Now that we've cleared all that up, let's talk about how you can actually make money from it. I'd say there's 3 main ways. So first, holding it long term and selling it. Example, think of that one guy, you've probably seen him on Reels or TikTok or something, who's begging people to invest in Bitcoin. Da Vinci Jeremy. This guy, I'll put him right here. This guy was begging people to buy Bitcoin. Publicly said he first bought Bitcoin in March 2011, and he said he bought it at around 67 cents per Bitcoin. That guy is loaded. That's just an example of holding it for a long time. I wish we could all go back in time and invest in Bitcoin, but we can't. Even now, a lot of people are still saying Bitcoin is just starting. We're going into a digital market. We're going into a digital economy. Everything is going digital. So in my opinion, I feel like it's a no-brainer to buy Bitcoin. That's one way you can make money from Bitcoin. Another way is by holding it for a short amount of time. You could do this by day trading, swing trading. A swing trade is basically any trade longer than the duration of, I believe, a few days. Usually a long-term trade like the one I just mentioned is a few months to years, that kind of duration. You could do this by just investing in it normally and making whatever 10-15% off a swing trade, or you can do leverage trading, which means you use borrowed money to make a bigger trade than what you have with your own cash. So for example, you have $100 and you put a 10x leverage. That means you now have $1,000 to trade with. Let's just say you put 100x leverage. That is $10,000 you're now trading with. So you can make potentially a lot of money with this or potentially lose a lot of money with this. That's why it's risky. Yeah, some people make money from this. And yeah, if you're good at spotting market patterns, then I would totally recommend trying leverage trading. This is just all advice. I'm not a professional. Do what you want. Be safe. Don't sue me if you do this and you lose a lot of money, because I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just saying it would be a cool idea. Now, the third and final way I'm going to mention here is by mining Bitcoin. What is mining Bitcoin? So remember when I was talking about earlier how to keep all of the transactions encrypted, there has to be like a series of math problems, like super complicated math problems being done. Mining basically means, it's basically having a computer or having some kind of computing system do these math problems. These problems like take up an extreme amount of energy, and you're probably wondering, how do I make money from this, bro? You make money because when you solve these equations, you actually get rewarded chunks of Bitcoin. And actually it depends. You can make money from like two different ways from mining. The first is block reward and the second is transaction fees. So first, let's go through block reward. So since all these equations are done on the blockchain, every time a miner adds a new block to the blockchain, they earn a reward in Bitcoin. As of 2024, the reward is 6.5 BTC Bitcoin per block. Yeah, this probably sounds like the freest method ever. You're probably looking online like, yo, how do I get a Bitcoin miner? But no, there's actually a lot of competition when it comes to Bitcoin mining because it is so lucrative. So it's very difficult to like actually get a whole block mined. Most people just join pools where all the rewards are like equally shared. Now let's get into transaction fees. When people make transactions through Bitcoin, they pay small fees to the blockchain. Fees are basically given to the miners, and in a pool, I assume it would be evenly dispersed. So that's Bitcoin explained. I hope this makes a little more sense to you guys. Invest your money. Actually, I think Bitcoin is low-key a good investment right now. So maybe do that. I'm not a financial advisor though, so don't sue me. Anyway, guys, have a good day. Thank you for watching.